Well, regardless if you love them or hate them, you gotta admit that a few years back when Benchmade released the Bug Out series of pocket knives, they really did set the bar for ultralight, light-duty pocket knives. And when you're the one setting the pace, that means that there's crosshairs on your back by the competition trying to outpace and outperform you. And that is exactly what Gerber is attempting to do with their recent release of the American-made Assert. Now, the Gerber asserts itself kind of right in between the full-size Bug Out and the Mini. But because the blade lengths are closer in line to the Mini, I've decided to run it throughout this video compared to the smaller Bug Out. And one of the claims to fame of the Bug Out series is lightweight with these polymer handle scales. They both are going to be made out of polymer with cross-sectioned structure underneath. When we weigh the Mini Bug Out, it comes in at 1.5 ounces, and the Assert comes in at 1.9. So it loses out on the weigh-in, but does it make up for that compromise in other areas? And the answer is it most certainly does. On compact folders of this size, to me, one of the main things I look for is ergonomics. How comfortable is the handle, and is it large enough for my, as everyone knows, merch coming one day, my large size hands? How does it fit in my large hands? Is it too tiny? And I've seen many compact folders make that compromise and give us, in some regards, too small a handle to actually get the leverage that you would want to do aggressive cutting tasks, I guess. And Gerber, and I'm gonna do this in millimeters because a small tool like this, it's easier to better determine. The thickness on these handle scales is going to be 10.9 millimeters, whereas on the Mini Bug Out, it comes in at 9.4 millimeters. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but every little bit of width that you can get in a folder of this size means better girth to grab onto and more leverage to do harder tasks. And I noticed it between the two tools that it definitely had a little bit fuller feel in my hand. And that's also accomplished with this handle being 101.5 millimeters long on the Gerber and only 94.2 millimeters long on the Mini Bug Out, meaning that it is thicker and longer than that Mini Bug Out, giving us more ergonomics. It's going to fill out the hand more, going to give you more real estate. I can just get all four of my fingers on there, and I have a great little guard right there keeping me locked in. No jimping, no need for jimping. And then I like the flare out on the back end as well, and kind of the sweep, which fills out your hand very well. And I put a lot of leverage in certain cutting tasks with this, and it felt great. And it is noticeably more ergonomic than the Mini Bug Out because of the less gradual sweep and the less organic sweep of the back end, and just being overall shorter and thinner. I can purchase, but my finger doesn't have quite as much real estate on the pinky, and I don't feel quite as locked in on the front end either if I'm doing kind of an angled 45-degree angle push cut. Not that it's not carryable or doable, but if you were to ask me between the two, the Gerber easily wins in ergonomic capability. Now, with any compact blade like this, deployment and the manipulation of the tool is key, and we're going to unpack that in just a moment, where there's some amazing cool uniqueness that the Gerber offers, but it does lag in one area compared to the Benchmade. But before I highlight that, I want to hop on over to the park and share with you today's sponsor, which is LA Police Gear and their new Terrain Stealth sneakers. I'm literally wearing them right now. Took them off so I could show it to you guys up close and personal. But since having got them about a month ago, been using them a ton and really enjoy this style because it's a low profile, but reminds me of my days when I used to work at a shoe store in high school and loving skate shoes and those type of things. It has kind of that profile, being not too high, not too low, but giving you suede upper with 1,000 denier polyester, as well as that EVA midsole and then the rubber outsole, give you a flat profile, but good traction points all the way through, a very comfortable mesh collar all the way around, and then that very comfy and dense insole. And these fit great. They're not too tight, but they don't feel like I'm swimming in them either. And they're true to size. And currently you're going to get the same black trim, and the suede will either be this green or you can get it in black. With a going rate of $50, you're able to get a lot of performance for that price range. And on top of that, don't forget about my 10% off exclusive promo code.
that you can put towards your purchase to save yourself a little bit more. So regardless if it's this set of sneakers from LA Police Gear or other footwear in general, I encourage you to check out the link in the description below this video and see all that they have to offer.
Now there's another aspect as well that I really like. You see these little indentations on both sides of the handle. Well, they've roughened those up ever so slightly, so it has the look and almost feel of like a clothy texture. Think of like the texture of a dollar bill. You know, it has a little bit of cotton in there. It has that kind of like cotton feel to it, so it's really warm to the touch and makes it better to grab and pull out of your pocket and engage with the tool. And it's just not feeling like you're holding hard polymer. It's a really cool little texturing thing that they did. And since we're on handle ergonomics, we'll go ahead and look at the pocket clips. On the Gerber, we have here a deep ride, loop over, blacked out pocket clip. You can also get stonewash that matches stonewash versions of the blade that are available. I love the blacked out, good tension right there on those. But what is really nice to see is the recessed screws. So that means two things. One, you're going to get a better ride because the Benchmade does have exposed screws, so it's not bad, but it definitely can grab onto your lips or your pockets. And you can see here the Benchmade's clip stays consistently high all the way down for basically your two pinky and your ring finger when you're gripping it and you're holding on to it. The Gerber, because it has that high flare at the back but then drops, you can see there that you will not be in contact, if you will, as much with the pocket clip as you will with the Benchmade when you are gripping the tool, meaning for another accentuation of ergonomics. So I think that they have totally checked the boxes and in ways outperformed the Benchmade with being more deep ride, recessed screws, and the angle of the pocket clip being a more ergonomic feel in the hand. And guys, if you're seeing value in this video, I invite you to hit that like button. It really does help with the algorithm, and to consider subscribing if you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, and make sure to hit that bell icon so that you can be notified every week when I put up new content breaking down gear and equipment to help you better stay equipped and prepared for whatever life throws your way. And for you, the regular subscriber and viewer here at Gideon's Tactical, thank you so much. You're amazing. And without you, I can't do what I do. So now to that action and lockup. Now the pivot is housed in bronze with bronze washers. That's so good to see. I'm super happy that Gerber has done both the housing, and they've done that on a few blades now, so there's durability around that pivot, and to use that type of action is good. It has what they call their pivot lock, which since the Axis locks patent has expired, everyone and their mom is doing. I have several knives with this action, works great, no issues. Now, I like how these thumb studs are a little bit different, and they are just ever so slightly more protruding. You can see here with the mini bug out, it's a little bit more flush. So in some ways, you may like that because it's streamlined. It means that it's a little, you have to think about actuating it sometimes. There have been one or two times where I slip off the actuation on the bug out. I haven't done that with the Assert. The thumb stud is really interesting. You have a T8 torque bit on one side. It comes standard, like kind of in the middle of this slit, which actually kind of blocks the blade a little bit, and it's a little too low for me. For smaller hand people, it's nice, and so you can adjust where you want it. I immediately untorqued it, put it all the way back, and now that is where I would have it, and it's very easy to engage and actuate. The really cool thing, outside of being able to adjust it where you need to, is you can completely remove it, and you can easily deploy the blade with the slit and not even have the thumb stud. I'm doing it right here without the thumb stud without problem. So pretty cool feature, and I definitely like that ingenuity that Gerber has come up with there. And guys, let me know, if you had the option, would you do thumb stud or thumb slit? Leave a comment below. So to get to the one aspect that is a little bit of a hang up and it falls short compared to the bug out, which is going to be the speed of deployment. The bug out has a smoother, snappier action for me, and it's very easy with almost no handle whip or hand whip to pull back, open up, close. It's just fast. It's super, super fast, and the lockup is very tight side to side and up and down. For me to get this to run like that, I had to back off the screw just a hair. Now it can do that without much flip. but you can see every once in a while it still kind of sticks. It's just not as smooth as the bug out is, and in so doing, I lost a little bit of tightness on the pivot. Now you can do it and it will still, you know, you can easily deploy and close with the thumb studs, but now to get it with that kind of snappy crossbar, if you will, action like that, I have slight rock side to side, none up and down, it's rock solid up and down. So you either are gonna, at least on my model, gonna have to compromise and tighten it down a little bit to have rock solid everywhere. You can still easily deploy it, you're not like pushing against it, but you're gonna have a lot of trouble doing that like crossbar, you know, pivot whip like I'm doing here without touching the blade. You can't really do that, and I even found myself having to like either push a lot further or even do like a double tap to get it in a lot, where you never have to do that with the bug out. It just flies back into place and it's tight. So that would be the one drawback to the design when you're actually wanting to whip open and close the crossbar. So I saved the best for last, the blade portion, the action, and I have used the Gerber Assert a bunch, and these both, again, being made in America with S30V steel, good stainless steel, pretty easy to put an edge on compared to like M390, and will hold its edge for a good amount of time. So very competitive in that range, and I have no complaints with that type of steel. Now the Gerber measures in at 2.9 inches overall blade length, the Benchmade like 2.85. They're about the same in cutting edge length as well as in overall blade length, coming in at just under 3 inches. Very similar to, say, like the Spyderco Delica as well, if you're thinking about that. Now, the Gerber is going to have 0.1 on the thickness and basically holds that almost all the way to the very tip. I love that blade shape. As the Benchmade is going to be 0.9 back near those thumb studs and then slowly tapers to the tip. You can see the Benchmade has a very fine tip. The Gerber has a much more robust tip, and that's really what you're gonna notice. The Gerber has great relief edge. It's a total slicing machine. I loved using it. It was ate up the cardboard, ate up the different materials that I went through, and I was very pleased with it. They both have flat grinds. The Gerber's being slightly lower just because of the thumb groove that they went with. What that means is, on a pure slicing category, the Benchmade is slightly more slicey and the Gerber is more robust, both in the tip and just in the overall blade thickness. Now at 0.1, it's still a very good cutting tool, the Gerber, and will outperform a lot of your other kind of larger, thicker stock pocket knives. It will totally outslice them. But when we're looking at it in comparison to the Benchmade will outslice it, but the Benchmade's tip is so thin, you gotta be really careful. It's very precise, which is nice, but you're gonna lose out on some of that durability. The Gerber has a little bit more durability, so you feel like you can do harder tasks with the Gerber than you can with the Benchmade. Now, you obviously have noticed this large resharpening choil, which I think is excellent, meaning that you don't even have to remove that thumb stud, and you can get all the way, even on steep angles, to the very tip of that edge. That is excellent. They did a great job with that, so you're going to be able to hone every millimeter of this compact blade. The only thing to note is that it's pretty large. You can easily get a piece of paracord kind of caught in there. Now, I attempted to do that in like the cardboard cutting that I was doing and just the slashing of rope. I never got it stuck in there, but that's just something to kind of be aware of. I would rather have this so I can sharpen every inch than no choil and then, you know, have a millimeter or two that I can never really resharpen properly. So that's just a little data point for you with the design. Now, before I give you my final thoughts, let's talk pricing. The price on the Gerber Assert is extremely competitive with the Mini Bug Out. The Mini Bug Out, this model you can score for around like 155, and then if you get a blacked out blade, it's gonna be 162. The Gerber Assert currently is coming in with a stonewash blade at 162, and then if you want a blacked out blade, it's 164. So basically the same price as a blacked out bladed Mini is what this is going to go for within $1 or $2. Now, I will have links not only over to the Gerber website as well as to BLADEHQ, GPKNIVES, Smoky Mountain Knife Forks, and Amazon, so that regardless of which model makes more sense for you, if it's time to make a purchase, pull the trigger. Appreciate it when you use those hyperlinks in the description below. Now, this model, Gerber hooked me up with the ability to do a custom build. This is in their custom store, so you can trick it out and do all kinds of different things. I did a topo pattern, blacked out blade, matched the thumb studs to, you know, the bolts and all those things, and the pocket clip and the handle scale material, or excuse me, color. So there's lots of customization there, and it's not much more to get yourself a custom model if you wanted to do that over on the Gerber website. So appreciate them hooking me up with this so I could show you guys what I like about it and what some of those attributes that maybe aren't quite as positive for you guys to determine for yourself which model makes more sense. Now, if you were to ask me, all right, which of these two do I like? I would say neither, because I'm more of a Gerber Sedulo Benchmade Griptilian size fan. These are the more size blades I gravitate to. That would be my preference and what I would prefer to carry over a compact folder like the Mini Bug Out or the Assert. Now, if Gerber takes the Assert and adds half an inch on that blade to like 3.4 and gives us matching length on that handle, and you were to run it up against a full-size Bug Out, I'd go with the Gerber every time because it would give me more ergonomics, deeper ride, and a little bit of a more robust blade on still a very lightweight folder. Now, between these two, it's really going to come down to, do you like speed of action and thinness of blade, or do you prefer a little bit more robust and better handle ergonomics that will fill your hand out more? That is really what it's going to come down to, I feel, between these two blades. But I feel that Gerber did an excellent job giving us basically a great alternative to the Mini Bug Out depending on what you're looking for your tool to do. So guys, that's me and my mileage, and I hope that this video has helped you better determine for yourself which tool is best suited for you. I do invite you to check out the other video popping up, and again to subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.